I want to talk about Biden. And the reason that I want to talk about Biden is that Biden is doing for Dr. Fauci, Dr. Fauci, the same thing that he did for his son. He's issuing preemptive pardons. Now, listen, I hadn't even heard of this, honest to God. I hadn't even heard of this prior to it happening to his son, Hunter. I had never heard of such a thing prior to it happening to his son, Hunter. Issuing a pardon when you're not even in jail or you're not even in investigation, under investigation or anything like that yet. I have never heard of this in my entire life. And, maybe y'all have heard of it. Maybe y'all can cite some previous presidents that has preemptively issued pardons for people that weren't even in jail or under investigation or anything like that yet. Or to, backdate pardons all the way to this particular date in order to save them, to give them free out of jail cards. I've never heard of this in my entire life. I've been on this earth since 1982. I'm 42 years old. I've been active and participatory in the political process for a long time. I have never heard of this in my entire life. But here we are. Let's go ahead and get into it, y'all.
It's a Fox News alert. President Biden, this just came across, just issues new pardons for Dr. Anthony Fauci. You could call these preemptive pardons. Dr. Anthony Fauci, retired four-star General Mark Milley. This just happened moments ago. It also includes the members of Congress and staff who served on the Select Committee and the U.S. Capitol, and D.C. Metropolitan Police officers who testified before the Select Committee. This as Trump prepares to take the oath of office in just a few hours.
Would that include Liz Cheney?
So
what a mess.
No, it doesn't. I guess, yeah, Select Committee.
The whole select.
But what does it say? Mark Milley, who is chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff under both Biden and Trump, you know that 100%. What he's done in the past. You know that he was calling China, trying to putting down President Trump.
I mean, what are they afraid that Pete Hegseth is going to see when he goes to the Defense Department and look at the files and data? There's been no talk of going after Anthony Fauci.
Well, Rand Paul is.
There may have been some senators, but the president himself has not said he wants to prosecute
here's
Anthony Fauci.
Absolutely right. And here's the thing. You pardon somebody who's been convicted.
Right.
They haven't been
There's
convicted.
a confession.
They haven't been charged. Right. This is crazy. It will be interesting to read the exact language, and because it just broke, we haven't seen it yet. But remember when Hunter Biden was pardoned by his father, the language was extraordinary because it essentially, we know some things happened during certain time periods, but this was a 10-year window. Anything he did during those 10 years was essentially it was a get out of jail free card. So it'll be interesting to see the language, the perimeters of what time we're talking about, and what it talks about. What he has pardoned them from.
His brother wasn't on that list.
Incredible.
He has 4.5 hours to pardon his brother.
Not yet.
I know that's going to get done.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Listen, man, let me tell you why this is so disrespectful and egregious and why we all should be questioning this. Everybody and their mama should be paying attention and they should be having this conversation and they should be questioning this because they forced y'all to take the jab. Mark Zuckerberg has already came out and started exposing them and said, hey, man, listen, I got my balls back. I'm a masculine man now. I'm not giving in to the woke media agenda. We not going to censor no more. We not going to keep on having fact checkers tell y'all what y'all can and can't say. We back to freedom of speech. We all on the same page. All of the billionaires is at the inauguration. They having a good time. And more importantly, Dr. Fauci, in my opinion, what this looks like is that he was doing this administration's bidding. That we were all finessed. Think about this for a second, y'all. We have people today, liberals today, that will still stand on, I can't believe you didn't take the jab. I can't believe that you don't believe that they're doing everything in our best interests. I can't believe that you're not letting them control what we think and we don't have freedom of speech. I've seen people lose their entire platforms that were making tens of thousands of dollars a month that got banned from social media platforms because they said that they didn't want to take the jab. This is outrageous. Outrageous. How can you pardon somebody preemptively on the very last day? You knew you was already going to pardon them, but you're pre-pardoning. They're giving out pre-pardons. A pre-pardon. They're giving out pre-pardons before they even leave office. I've never heard of such a thing in my entire life. I've never heard of this type of behavior. This is crazy. And they trying to do it in the middle of this inauguration as though we not paying attention to it. Trump recently responded to it and called it disgraceful. Let me share it with you guys. This is courtesy of the New York Post. It says Trump slams Biden for pardoning Fauci, Milley, and the January 6th committee staffers in the final hours of presidency, calling it disgraceful. It says President Biden issued a string of last-minute pardons on his way out the White House on Monday. Disgraceful. This is the worst president in my lifetime. I'm saying it now. We ain't got to wait for history to try to figure it out. This is the worst president in our lifetime. Trump, hours before President-elect Trump was due to be sworn in as the 47th commander-in-chief, in a move blasted as disgraceful by the incoming president. It said, many are guilty of major crimes, Trump fumed to NBC's Kristen Welker. Some of the beneficiaries of Biden's wide-ranging pardons include truth-challenged former chief medical advisor Dr. Anthony Fauci, embattled retired General Mark Milley, and members of the House committee that investigated the January 6th attack on the Capitol, including Liz Cheney. Now, we know why Liz Cheney was dedicated to embracing and endorsing Kamala Harris and Biden for president of the United States of America. Remember, there was one around and saying, look, we got Liz on our side. We got Liz on our side. It says, I believe in the rule of law, and I am optimistic that the strength of our legal institutions will ultimately prevail over politics, Biden said in a statement. But these are exceptional circumstances, and I cannot in good conscience do nothing. What do you mean? They weren't charged with anything. What do you mean? So you're anticipating them being investigated and for us to find out the truth. It says Biden 82 lauded the nation's dedicated, selfless public servants, but noted they have been subject to ongoing threats and intimidation for faithfully discharging their duties. In certain cases, some have been even threatened with criminal prosecutions, including General Mark A. Milley, Dr. Anthony Fauci, and members of the staff of the Select Committee to investigate the January 6th attack on the United States Capitol. These public servants have served our nation with honor and distinction and do not deserve to be the targets of unjustified or politically motivated prosecutions. Also on Biden's preemptive pardon list was Rep. Jamie Raskin, who was on the January 6th committee and will serve as a ranking member in the House Judiciary Committee in the 119th Congress. James Comer, chairman of the House Oversight Committee, lambasted Biden for the pardon, slamming Raskin as someone who will be remembered for his abuse of power, hypocrisy, consistent dishonesty, and unwavering loyalty to Biden. Good God. This is the worst president of our lifetime, without a doubt. Without a doubt.
Caddy, we have breaking news right now. Joe Biden has just, according to Jonathan Meir, has just issued...
I want to get it from both sides. I don't want to just get it from the Fox News side, so we're going to go over to MSNBC and check it out.
Series of pardons of significant.
Just now, a statement from the President of the United States, Joe Biden, talking about the defense of need to defend public servants. And he's offering pardons. He is pardoning now. I'll just read from it. I'm exercising my authority under the Constitution to pardon General Mark A. Milley, Dr. Anthony S. Fauci, the members of Congress and staff who served on the January 6th Select Committee, and U.S. Capitol and D.C. Metropolitan Police officers who testified.
Yes,
before.
I believe worse than Bush Jr. Yes, definitively. In my lifetime in particular, I believe as Biden is number one, the worst president of all time. Bush Jr. is second, without a doubt.
Select Committee. He goes on to say
100%.
The issuance of these pardons should not be mistaken as an acknowledgement that any individual engaged in any wrongdoing, nor should acceptance be misconstrued as an admission of guilt for any offense. And just backing up a moment, we have known for months now speculation that there would be these preemptive pardons issued by the White House. There were some people wanted them.
I didn't even know that you can do a preemptive pardon. That is the first time that I've ever heard of it in my entire life. I did not know that you can do a preemptive pardon. I just learned this in my big old age.
Others did not, but a remarkable historic moment here in just his final hours of the presidency, issuing pardons for those who very much were targeted by Donald Trump and his allies for potential for prosecution and retribution.
I think what's significant about these particular names, Willie, especially for the January 6th committee, Liz Cheney, Adam Kinzinger, and of course all the Democrats on the committee, is that the incoming president in his interview on Meet the Press several weeks ago after being elected, because there is, it's one thing to be saying it in the heat of a campaign, but after being elected, saying that the people serving on the January 6th committee should go to jail, that obviously probably made Joe Biden more ready for those pardons. Of course, Mark Milley, he said what he said about Mark Milley. Same with Fauci and the U.S. Capitol Police.
These are being offered.
They're being offered. So they're being offered.
That's correct.
So they have to
Right
accept
now.
those.
They have to accept them. Right.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So the limousine ride just got more interesting.
Yes,
the
it
one
did.
We've been
That's
talking about
going to be
when
something.
President Biden and the president-elect ride over from the White House to the Capitol. The president ends the statement by saying the issuance of these pardons should not be mistaken as an acknowledgement that any individual engaged in any wrongdoing, nor should acceptance be misconstrued as an admission of guilt for any offense. That was.
Man, I don't want to hear that crap. I don't want to hear nothing about that. I don't want to hear that. We know what's really happening out in these streets. You're not going to finesse us. You're not going to hit us with the ooh-wop, shebang, and bamboozle. No, this doesn't mean that they did anything wrong. Nah, go through the process like everybody else. Go through the process like everybody else. Nobody said that they was going to, man, whatever, bro. All this does is put more things into question, and I think that we need to get back to the core of just letting all of the information out and showing people what's really happening behind the scenes. I can't wait until tomorrow